I will talk to you of art, for there is nothing else.
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to 7th Street.
No, you're gonna shoot me! Don't shoot!
So, October is here. That means that Halloween is fast approaching, and I thought I would spend this month highlighting those films that ooze with that Halloween feel. Like I said in my last video, everyone has their own tastes. For me, I prefer older, campier flicks to get me in that Halloween mood.
Don't you like it?
I usually find myself watching the Universal Monsters classics like Frankenstein and the Wolfman a whole lot more than I find myself watching movies like The Ring or Saw. Halloween's all about nostalgia for me. I want to see foggy graveyards. I want to see howling werewolves, you know? These are the things I want to see during the month of October.
There's a body inside that statue.
Oh, that's Alice.
You know, one movie that comes to mind is the 1959 Roger Corman classic, A Bucket of Blood. A Bucket of Blood is the 1959 horror comedy spoof of the emerging beatnik scene in Los Angeles. Just take a look at the opening scene.
John, Joe, Jake, Jim, Jerk, dead. They were not born. Before they were born, they were not born. Where are Leonardo, Rembrandt, Ludwig, alive?
Very cool, Daddy-o. This has to be the most hipster beatnik joint in the history of the world. I mean, slam poetry, berets, vegan food.
What are you having?
Soy and wheat germ pancakes, organic guava nectar, calcium lactate and tomato juice, and garbanzo omelets sprinkled with smoked yeast. Join us?
No, thanks.
The movie centers around dim-witted busboy Walter Paisley, played by one of my favorite character actors, Dick Miller.
Carla? I don't want to make statues anymore. I want to get married. To you.
Walter Paisley spends his days dreaming of being a talented bohemian artist, just like the people he spends his days cleaning up after.
Feed them to the fishes for liver oil to nourish the artist.
That was word for word.
Is it? I've forgotten.
You mean you don't remember your own poem?
I refuse to say anything twice. Repetition is death.
You know, the movie oddly does a great job of connecting to its audience. I mean, we all know what it's like to be Walter Paisley. We've all felt like the only one who isn't recognized for their great talent. We've all felt like we possessed some sort of skill, even if nobody else sees it. We'd do anything to be recognized. What? Is that just me?
To be uncreative, you might as well be in your grave. Or in the army.
While trying to discover his hidden talent by testing his hand at some sculpting, Walter Paisley notices that his landlady's cat is stuck in his wall.
Cat in the wall, eh? Okay, now you're talking my language.
Walter decides that the best course of action is to cut the poor creature out. It goes about as well as you think it would.
Frankie?
After accidentally killing his landlady's cat and covering the body in plaster to hide the evidence, Walter is acclaimed as a brilliant sculptor.
Attention, everyone! As you pass through these yellow portals, I am sure you noticed on your right a small clay figure, and assumed this transfixed effigy to be the work of a master sculptor. And indeed, so it is. That master sculptor is in our midst. He is none other than Walter Paisley, our very own busboy.
Soon the ladies start swooning over Walter, and he finds that being a successful artist is everything that he hoped it would be.
And I want to be warmed by it.
Gee, that's nice of you, Naolia.
Walter, take me away from here. Take me away to some cool blue place and gas me.
That is, until his newfound friends demand to see more of his work. Lacking any artistic talent whatsoever, Walter has to resort to similar methods to produce a new masterpiece.
I saw a statue once. It was called The Third Time Phyllis Saw Me, She Exploded.
Now, what kind of a statue was that?
I don't know. It was made out of driftwood and dipped in fluoric acid. Very wild.
I would like to point out that I love these stoner characters. They're by far the highlight of the film and have the best fucking dialogue.
Let us make the scene. Crazy. Man, if you're gonna be an artist, you've gotta do nudes. Right. Crazy, what did he say?
Didn't you hear him?
No, man, I'm too far out.
Please bring back the term far out for high. It would be a lot cooler if we did. Not surprisingly, the hipsters eventually discover Walter's dark secret. Our protagonist turned antagonist is forced to leave as a mob of quinoa-eating slam poets descend upon his home. The other main characters, Carla, Leonard, and Maxwell, break down Walter Paisley's apartment door, only to find that Walter has hanged himself. Looking at the hanging corpse, Maxwell proclaims that it would have been his greatest work, and that he probably would have called it Hanged Man. Some people consider A Bucket of Blood to be Roger Corman's best film. And it's not hard to see why. Roger Corman's A Bucket of Blood is a remarkably hip and stylish satire of the beatnik scene and the teenage horror genre. Aside from that, it's also an ingenious commentary on the art world. Anything can pass as a masterpiece when it comes to being quote-unquote creative. Even a dead cat dipped in plaster will fit the bill, so long as you can play the part of artiste well enough.
Bring me a cappuccino and a piece of papaya cheesecake, and a bottle of Yugoslavian white wine.
Yes, sir, Mr. Paisley.
Roger's depiction of the liberal youth scene is so well done that it borders on being timeless. I don't know whether this is supposed to be 1960s Los Angeles or Portland, Oregon today.
Nobody asked for your opinion, Walter. You're just a simple little farm boy, and the rest of us are all sophisticated beatniks.
Well, it's been over 50 years since Roger Corman directed A Bucket of Blood, and it's still just as relevant today as it was in 1959. It definitely begs the question, why doesn't anyone reference this film?
That's all, man. Let's split.
Yeah, man. I gotta make me some air.